everybody, my name is Natalia Leigh and I'm the author of the young adult novels Highborn and Way of Spears, and today I'm going to be sharing my top 7 tips for how to write a killer chapter 1. Let's get started. Alright, tip number 1 for me is to not be afraid. Just be bold when you're writing chapter 1. I find chapter 1 to be one of the most difficult chapters to write just because you're starting a new story with a bunch of new characters that you might not know very well, or if you're writing a sequel or a series, yes, you know these characters, but it's a completely new story and there's a lot riding on chapter 1, so it can definitely feel intimidating. But just try to relax and enjoy the process of writing it and know that you can always rewrite it or come back and edit it later. My second tip is to start chapter 1 and to start your novel near the inciting incident. No reader wants to pick up a book and then have to read 10 chapters before they even figure out what the inciting incident is. And if you don't know what an inciting incident is, it is the thing that happens to trigger the rest of the story. So in Harry Potter, for example, it would be getting the letter that invites him to Hogwarts, or maybe meeting Hagrid is the inciting incident, depending on how you want to look at it. But it is that trigger that starts all of the events in motion. So you want to start chapter 1 near that event, as close to it as possible. Some people even start with the inciting incident, but just know that you don't want to keep your readers waiting too long to give them that little tidbit of information that tells them what the story is going to be about and gets them on the roll with the action. My third tip is to introduce us to your main character and their quirks and their personality. I really like to know what kind of character I'm working with from chapter 1. From the first page, I want to know, okay, is this a sassy character? Is this a really mopey character? Is this a really tough and a go-get-em kind of character? I want to know a bit of their personality so that I know from page 1 if this is a character that I want to spend an entire novel with. Because there have been some novels that I pick up and I start reading and I just know that the personality of the main character does not mesh with mine and I don't want to spend an entire 300 pages reading about them. So do your best to really introduce your readers to your main character or your main characters. Maybe share a few of their little quirks with us and just be as honest and truthful about that character as possible. Tip number 4 is one that you have probably heard many times before, and that is don't start with a dream sequence. This is something that I think a lot of new writers try to do. This is something that I used to try to do, but even though it sounds like it could be a lot of fun, it is incredibly confusing to readers to enter a completely new novel, a completely new world through a dream, because dreams make no sense. So we're already trying to get used to this new world and you're throwing us for a loop with a dream that really doesn't ground us in the reality of the novel. So start us out in real life, in present time, and if you must do a dream sequence, do it later on. My 5th tip is that backstory and long-winded setting descriptions are both no-nos. I want action in chapter 1 and I want to be able to get to know your main character. If you're just giving me 5 pages of description about the gorgeous castle that the character grew up in or the creek that's outside the cottage where they live, I'm gonna get bored because I don't care yet. I don't care about the setting. What I care about is that character and the action that they're going to be going through and the drama that they are going to be experiencing. So start us out with characters and start us out with a bit of action and drama. Do not start out with a bunch of backstory and a bunch of setting description. A little bit of setting description is okay just to kind of ground us in where we are and give us like a layout of the land, but do not make it too long because it will absolutely bore your readers. Tip number 6 is to use chapter 1 to set the tone, theme, and style of your novel. Chapter 1 is kind of like a promise to the readers, and they want to be assured that they can trust in you to tell them a really good story. So let's say you start out with a really kind of airy, happy-go-lucky tone, and then the novel turns into something that's really dark and creepy and not what the reader expected at all. That's going to make them feel like they're kind of in choppy waters and they're not sure if they can trust you anymore. So use chapter 1 to make a promise to your readers, set the tone and the theme, and let them know that they are in really good hands with you. For example, let's say you are writing a horror novel. I would want to be creeped out by the end of chapter 1 because I would want to know instantly that that kind of creepiness is what I can expect throughout the entire novel. And let's say you're writing romance. I want to have some sort of swoon-worthy, cute moment in that first chapter so that I know what to expect later on in the novel. All right, now my last tip, tip number 7, is to write chapter 1 and then write the rest of the book. Sometimes chapter 1 can feel so daunting and intimidating that either we never even get through it or we write it and then we are continually going back and editing it and changing it, rewriting it, editing, changing it, and then you will never move ahead. So my tip is to write chapter 1, move on, finish the rest of the novel. If you have not finished a novel yet, you won't know the feeling of knowing your characters and your story so well by the time you finish it. What I often experience is that I will write an entire novel and I'll get to know the characters really well and the story really well, and then I go back to the first few chapters and I realize that they do not tell, the truth of the story, or that they're not presenting my main character as she or he actually is. So once you finish the novel, you will likely realize that you started it in the wrong place, or you should have started it with this action or this character, or maybe you didn't tell the truth of the character very well. But those are things you would never know unless you finish the novel in the first place. So write chapter 1, have a really fun time with it, move on, write the rest of the novel, and then come back and edit and revise chapter 1. All right, everybody, those were my top 7 tips when it comes to writing chapter 1. So thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I know that I've been making a lot of vlogs recently, and I'm going to make an effort to get back to my schedule of vlog and then how-to/writing video like this one today. I have had a few requests for videos. One of those was to do a video on writing romantic subplots and how to write realistic romance when it's not the focal point of your novel. And also let me know any of your video requests in the comments down below. Also, I recently hit 1,600 subscribers, which is mind-blowing and amazing. And I want to say thank you so much to everybody that has been supporting me and has subscribed. If you have not subscribed yet, I would love for you to join this family. You can hit the subscribe button down below, and if you want notifications when I post new videos, hit the bell icon and you can get those. Also, I have recently opened an Instagram. I have never Instagrammed before, so I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing, but if you are interested in following me, you can find me at Natalia A. Leigh, and I will link that down below as well. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I hope some of these tips will help you. Leave any of your extra tips down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!